Mike's Daily Podcast.
I believe we're going to do a show right now. It's called Mike's Daily Podcast. Yes, it's so exciting, isn't it?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is a program where I talk to you through this microphone, and I don't know if you own some device that can listen to a podcast like this show, Mike's Daily Podcast, and don't you know, it's episode 2323. 2323.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What? It's 2323? This is crazy. Okay. So,
Mike's
that's the show
Daily
theme song for today.
Podcast.
And I don't know what's happening with my microphone, but I think I got it in some kind of semblance of some kind of working order. Here we go. And the microphone smells like a beer. No, it doesn't. But that's what Billy Joel sang about. So that song came out in the 70s, right? But I think they redid the video later in the 80s. Because the music video looks very 80s, not so 70s. Just saying, if you are a Billy Joel aficionado and like to absorb all things Billy Joel. If you are young, you probably don't, because you're like, wait, what? Who? Neil Diamond? No, Billy Joel. Bruce Springsteen? Rod Stewart? No, it's Billy Joel. Somebody else. Which, by the way, last night I went to go get some Greek food, because apparently my lovely lady friend and I, that's the only kind of food we think that exists right now. And so we go to this Greek place. Actually, I was by myself. I ordered it on the phone, went to pick it up. And you know, when you feel like when you've ordered something and you go to pick it up, that, you know, you should just go there and pick it up. You shouldn't have to wait in a line before everybody else who's trying to figure out the menu. You should be able to fast pass right past them.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh, and we don't even have a fast pass anymore. Fast pass is gone, from what I heard, at Disneyland. Now they've got all these other tiered systems. And that makes amusement park, going to an amusement park absolutely ridiculous now, because there is the haves and the have-nots in every single line for a ride. Even though you pay this crazy amount of money to get into the amusement park, now you have to pay extra to get on the ride in front of everybody else who's waiting in line in front of you. Just another reason why I hate amusement parks and why I love YouTube, because I can watch, that's right, Basil, I can watch the people, the wonderful poor saps that go to amusement parks for me, because they're addicted and they can't get enough. Go get him, Basil. Good boy, the late great Basil the boxer. Yeah, so it's a whole have and have-nots thing going on at the amusement parks these days. Very unenjoyable. I did not like it. I do not feel any need to go to any amusement park anytime soon. With that being said, can I get some tickets to Great America? I have never been. I would like to check it out and get sick and ill and start to be really angry old hermit man Mike Matthews living in a shoe, complaining about everything. I want to do that again and go to another amusement park. But it's only fun if you go with a bunch of fun people, like I did in Texas. But the podcast picture is not from Texas. It is actually from Florida, Daytona Beach, the other part of my trip, and I'm holding an alligator. And he is a young alligator, a smaller alligator. And I believe his name was Grumpy or Grouchy, kind of like I am today. So you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. They did have to duct tape his mouth shut when they give it to a human. When they give Grouchy or Grumpy to a human to hold, they have to tape the mouth shut so we can keep our hands. That's how it works. So, oh boy, I'm jumping all over. I'm jumping around. Because there was a lot of stuff to cover there. And yes, amusement parks and fast passes and getting ahead of everybody and trying to just, enjoy things that I used to enjoy when I was a kid is gone. That stuff is gone. Those amusement parks, that's gone. It is really expensive. And it probably was expensive for our parents, but I don't know if it was this expensive. So I see no need for it anymore. Did you enjoy the podcast picture from the last show? It was also from Daytona Beach, only Ponce de Leon Inlet, rather. Ponce de Leon, the explorer, the colonizer, the person that wrecked Florida by bringing all these Europeans over, exploring and discovering. And hey, that's why I'm here. I've family from Europe, so sorry to all you wonderful native, originally here first type, you OGs of America. Sorry. We're here. And that's how it is. First we were here when we were born. And then we wake up in a world where we're taking history classes and going, ooh, wow, a lot of crazy stuff happened before I got here. This is messed up. And then you find out that, oh, you're related to all those people that did some messed up things. And you're, okay, I got to process all this. Meanwhile, everybody is being crazy on the playground and nasty and mean because they're kids. And it just adds on from there. And life is fun. 9 things you should remember about tipping. Because, okay, so yesterday I'm waiting in the line to get the Greek food, because we love the Greek food. And I'm waiting because I thought I had the fast pass, but I did not, because I am just an average human being. And I ordered my food online, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means I'm internet savvy. But I don't get to cut in front of the line. Nope, I have to wait behind. The young Gen Zers, they're not even millennials anymore. They're Gen Zers who have never been in a fast food Greek place before, and they don't know what to order. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. So they don't know what to order. They don't know what the gyro is, or baklava, or any of that. They're trying to figure it out, and the cashier, the person that's taking their order, is being oh so kind and oh so helpful and giving them oh so much information, and I'm waiting to get the food. And the thing with Greek food is, as soon as the temperature dips a little bit, as soon as it starts to get a little bit cold, just a few degrees, it tastes terrible. It doesn't taste good anymore. You need to get it while it's hot. So I'm waiting, and I thought I'd get through there fast. No fast pass in life. No soup for you. Hey, or Greek food for you. So should you tip those hardworking people at the restaurant where you're getting your Greek food? Tipping 15% of the pre-tax bill, that's 20% for good service, at restaurants is standard, but depending on where you live, a larger tip might be in order. This according to mentalfloss.com, the magazine Mental Floss. I believe the guy from Food Channel, Alton Brown, had something to do with Mental Floss. In some states, tipped workers make less than minimum wage, even in expensive regions like Washington, D.C., so it's always better to tip on the generous side. The federal tip minimum wage is a horrifying $2.13 per hour. So keep that in mind before you stiff someone. Plus, you should keep in mind that tips often don't go solely to your waiter or waitress. Tips are pooled between the wait staff and back of the house workers, and usually there are restaurant rules governing who wait staff should be tipped. Bartenders, bussers, and runners usually get a cut, since they all also play a big role in making sure your food and drink gets to the table in a timely manner. You should also tip bartenders. What is the rule on that? At least $1 per drink is the minimum, and that's been that way for years. That's crazy. I remember in the 90s doing that, so I guess that hasn't changed, according to Mental Floss. But if you're on a tab, you can do the usual 15 to 20%. If you're taking up bar space for hours but not drinking much, or if your bartender comps you a free drink, throw them a little extra. The same goes for complicated cocktails. I would say that with the complicated cocktails, if you're just pouring me a glass of wine, that took you all of 5 seconds. I don't see a huge generous tip for that. But especially when a glass of wine now is like $20 a glass. Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. That's the name of the podcast now. This is ridiculous. Not Mike's Daily Podcast. Just, this is ridiculous. Fast food and coffee shop tip jars. There is no obligation to put $1 in the tip jar, but if you're a regular or if you're asking for a complicated order, you should be generous. The minimum tip for any delivery order, no matter how small, should be $5. Wow. Parking attendants. If a valet brings your car around for you, you should fork over at least $2 before driving away. Bathroom attendants. That always creeps me out. You should give someone $1 for handing you paper towels and providing some lotion. But if the attendant is just there to make sure no funny business goes on, don't tip them. That according to the etiquette scholar. Salon and spa workers, give at least 15 to 20% to your manicurist, massage therapist, and waxing specialist. Hotel workers, you need to tip the hotel staff. The American Hotel and Lodging Association has a helpful tip guide. Tip $1 or $2 to your shuttle driver, the bellhops who carry your luggage, and the door staff that hails your taxi. Housekeepers should get between $1 and $5 per night, left daily with a note specifying that it's for them. Actually, in Florida, my lovely lady friend and I tipped for the whole time all at once at the end of the trip. So, but they're saying every day. And it looks like we way over tipped. Oh well. We love you, Perlina. And finally, taxi drivers. In addition to the 15 to 20% tip, you should give your drivers at least $2 for any bags they carry. That's interesting. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Mental floss is fascinating, and I'm glad they're online now, because like here they have an article, the haunted California Toys R Us that hosted a seance. Do they have videos? Do they have videos because I'm German and I pronounce all my B's as W's? Let's see. Well, I don't see any section that just says videos. Why do dogs drool? Oh, that's a very good question. Oh, and this does have a video to it. If a dog is particularly slobbery, it's possible it's a symptom of an underlying problem like a digestive upset, having ingested a foreign object or a tumor. Eek. It's important to get a dog examined if they begin drooling excessively or if there's blood in the saliva. All this helpful information on today's Mike's Daily Podcast. We're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Look who is here now. Hello, Michael Matthews, it's Madame Rootabega, and I enjoyed listening to this podcast about tipping. Oh, yes. It's a very big topic, tipping, but I believe we only reached the tipping of the... Didn't do that one right. Didn't do that dad joke right. Didn't do it justice. Oh, well. Do you like dad jokes? Yes. Do you like all jokes? Yes. Do you like John Oliver? No. Why not? He's so funny. It requires too much of my time to watch his videos. Ooh. Yeah. They're kind of long, but very, very smart and funny. But here is another guy.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the birthing attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we was just listening to the last podcast when you were talking about watching less television day.
Yeah, less television. Do you know that? Yes. And are you guys watching less television?
No. We are not. We will not stop watching the television day.
Yeah, television. Do you know that? You know, one of the weirdest questions I got about this podcast is, hey, what time can I listen to your podcast? Anytime at all. It's a podcast. You can listen to it instantly. Oy. Some people will never get it, will they? Oh, well. But what do you think about all of this? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast is and has been for the past, day or so. Sometimes I get interrupted, as you know. But next show, it will be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere, the engineer. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!